Hey everyone, it's me Gavin Vengeance and welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk about 10 changes that I think Genshin Impact needs in order to make the game a little bit better, feel like a more full experience, and retain its player base, keep people happy. That's the main thing. Now if you guys are new to the channel, I would like to encourage you to please subscribe if you guys want any more Genshin Impact related content, and also please consider giving the video a thumbs up as it helps very much. Now with that being said, let's dive into number 1, which I think a lot of people have been clamoring for a very long time, and that's endgame content. So the reason I want to bring this up is just because all that we have currently is the Spiral Abyss, and it's getting pretty damn old very quickly. Honestly, I can't even bring myself to complete it when it resets half the time just because I'm so bored of it. It doesn't really offer much of a challenge for a lot of other players as well, and honestly, the rewards don't really justify completing it in my opinion. 150 Primo Gems for the max 9 stars per floor is just kind of like, it is whatever, I guess. But for the amount of trouble it takes to get through, like, floor 12, for some people, if you're not properly, geared, and if you don't have all the money to spend in the world on certain characters, then it's not really worth it. But anywho, I'd like to see something more along the lines of, like, Labyrinth Warriors, the old event that we got where it was like a randomized dungeon and you go through it, and as you go through each floor you get to select like these random buffs or debuffs that you get applied to your party, and it would be really cool to see that implemented in a way that if you were to take on more restrictions, then you would have better chances at better rewards for the dungeons, possibly even like certain weapons or something being added to like a weekly pool. Something along the lines of like a 5-star weapon or something. That would be really cool to see. Just like an overall, like, I don't know, more whole experience, something a little more fulfilling. And even if you wanted to do something that's scaled with like online play, then maybe you can increase the difficulty if you were playing with other players and stuff like that. I think there would be a lot of really great ways to implement endgame content into the game, and honestly Labyrinth Warriors was just one example that we were presented with. I'm sure there's a ton of other ways that they could approach this, but some sort of endgame content would be very much appreciated. Now moving on to the second thing that I'd like to see, it would be permanent PvP, something along the lines of like Wind Trace, or like I don't know, like a race for an obstacle course or something like that. It doesn't necessarily have to be like combat PvP, but I'm sure they could alleviate that a little bit just because of the discrepancies between characters that are like C6 and have R5 weapons or different artifacts and all that stuff affecting their stats. I'm sure they could just give you like trial characters to use or whatever, but I feel like people wouldn't really be overly happy with that. However, I'm sure there would be a niche group that would really appreciate that type of PvP, but they could approach it a different way by implementing something like Wave Rider battles where you're just out on the water and you can shoot your cannons at everybody, and whenever the person's health is depleted, then they're knocked out of the standings, something along the lines of that. But it'd be really cool if they implemented some sort of like PvP where you're rewarded for playing, I don't know, X amount of matches per week. So I don't know, let's just say 4 matches a week, and you get 80 crystals per participation in a match, so like 2 pulls or whatever every week. That'd be something that would be decent enough, I think, to encourage people to actually like start playing together, and it would be really fun, I think. Moving on to number 3, I think honestly is something that I just kind of touched upon, and that's just increase the rewards all over. I feel like we get very little rewards from doing like all these different events, and I know that you can argue that, oh yeah, well you're getting like certain items and everything like that, but whenever they implement a new character, a lot of people are really interested in trying out those characters, and not just doing like the trial, like test runs or whatever else, but like acquiring those characters. And I know for a lot of free-to-plays, it's really hard to amass enough Primo Gems in order to be able to participate on every single banner, which I know that, yeah, okay, sure, we're thankful for reruns and everything, but just having the base Primos available each time a new character is released would be a lot more helpful. My biggest gripe is actually something that happened to me recently with the Ankanamiya patch, and that's just opening up the common treasure chests, and it really hit me again, just being like, 2 Primo Gems, like that literally would take 90 common chests in order to get a single pull. That is way too low in terms of rewards. There has to be some sort of increase overall in terms of how many Primo Gems you get, or at the very least give us an option for like a 10 pull or something every now and then would be very much appreciated. The fourth change that I would like to see would just be more character outfits and more hangout quests, I guess, and I'm sure that these will be released with time, but As things stand, there's not really a whole lot of different options currently available for the majority of the characters. I know we do have a couple of select outfits. I think there's probably only like 4 alternatives outside of the ones that got patched in for the more censored models. But I mean, outside of that, there really needs to be a lot more availability and variety in my opinion, and it'd be really nice to see like different outfits for a large majority of the cast. And then also again with the Hangout quests, just more of those, because I feel like honestly the Hangout quests for me are a lot more impactful than actually some of the character story quests. And it's really crazy to say that, but I mean, just take Beto's Hangout for example. That was probably one of the best quests that was implemented in the game, so again, a lot more of those would be very much appreciated. Moving on to the 5th thing that I would like to see, and I think this is going to be a little more controversial, but I don't know if anybody would really argue it, but I would like to see another increase for the resin system, because I feel like how much we have right now, sure, okay, it's an increase from the initial amount, but it really restricts how much players are going to play the game throughout the day. And I know that the reason that it is restricted as of right now is just because you have the option to be able to spend Primo Gems or, Genesis Crystals in order to recharge your resin and then be able to participate more into the game. But at the same time, it really limits your vast majority of your player base from playing the game a little bit longer, and it would be extremely awesome to actually just see it abolished altogether. I know that's probably not going to happen, but yeah, I think the resin system is probably kind of outdated in my opinion. It's something that normally would be used in like a mobile game, and I know a large majority of people do play Genshin on mobile, but I'm not sure if that system really suits this game. So again, I'd like to see some sort of like change or removal of the resin system. The 6th thing that I would like to see implemented into the game, I'm not really sure everybody would agree with, but from me personally, someone with an MMO background, even though I know Genshin Impact's not an MMO, it would be a guild or a social system of some sort. Something that we can interact with all of our friends in a group, rather than having to do like all these different individual conversations. Something that would have like, I don't know, maybe like weekly tasks or something tied to it, where if you guys all pitched in and you were given rewards, or something that could go towards like a guild serenity pot that everybody can contribute to. I think that would be something that would really improve like co-op play and everything. So again, that would be a very welcome addition in my opinion. And I do feel like, the community is really kind of lacking when it comes to Genshin Impact. So this could potentially be something that really helps that along and just really improves player enjoyment. Now moving on to the 7th thing that I'd like to see added would be something that I'm not sure if they're even going to be working on, but it's from a lot of different mobile games as well, world bosses. So just some like big crazy badass monster or something that would spawn out in the world where everybody would need to pitch in to try to take it down. And honestly, you could do something along the lines of like some sort of weekly reward again for this, something that you could really show off just how good your characters are since you've got them, R5, C6, and all that stuff, or like wicked artifacts. Just something for everybody to kind of go in and really have that challenge, and also be able to contribute no matter what level or which type of character you do have. I mean, you could do the world bosses and different like elements and stuff like that to really encourage you to change it up and play characters that you normally wouldn't play. There would be a lot of different things that would be really cool that could be implemented with world bosses, so I really hope that's something that does get added in the future. Now, moving on to the 8th thing, and this is probably something that I don't really think would break the game or anything like that, but it would definitely encourage people to play a lot more again on the weekends, and that would be like a leyline overflow type event that happens every weekend. Not just an event that they do implement every couple of patches, but something where you could get like double of rewards just for playing on the weekend, and maybe it would just be limited like a regular leyline overflow where you could only reap those rewards 3 times per day. So 3 times you'd get 2 times the amount of rewards whenever you played on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Just something along the lines of that to really again encourage you to go out and do the leyline overflows. I'm not really sure how many people actually do a whole lot of them anymore, just for like experience books or Mora or whatever else. But I think that would be a great way, again, to just retain players on the weekend. On to the 9th thing that I would like to see, and I think a lot of other people would agree with this as well. It's just honestly the update and revisit of old characters. So I feel like a lot of them really did lose their viability with the implementation of other new characters and also different areas to explore. I just feel like a lot of the older skill sets for a lot of these characters just really don't fit anymore, and they really need to be updated because the characters just aren't used, and they will probably never be used because they're completely outclassed by everybody else. I'm not really sure if they have some sort of plans to increase the level cap or whatever at some point into the game, because if they did something like that, I mean, they could really just kind of evolve like their abilities to make them relevant again. And I feel like this has been something that's been asked for quite some time, so please, Hoyoverse, update this. And then last but not least, just some more quality of life updates, honestly. Something along the lines of like something I seen on Twitter the other day, dark mode. Something so simple that would just improve so much more, because I know a lot of us probably play this game in the the late hours of the night, and you turn on the game and then white screen and you're blinded. But some sort of like dark mode or something would be cool for the menus. Honestly, something that I've been asking for since the very first time that I played with controller on PC. The ability to just press X on my controller and log into the game without having to click with my mouse, because it's extremely annoying. But again, just, very simple changes like that would make a hell of a lot of difference. And then also the implementation of something that I'm a little bit nitpicky about, and that's just a higher refresh rate. I know a lot of people usually do play this game 60 FPS, it's really enjoyable, but I'm used to playing games at like 144 or 120, and I know it's not going to really affect the overall performance of the game, but for me specifically, it's just so much easier on the eyes to look at that smooth like camera pan, and honestly, I think it would just be a world of difference again to add in something so simple as a higher refresh rate. Just the availability for it. I mean, they have it in Honkai Impact, right? So why can't we do it in Genshin? Anywho, that's going to do it for 10 things that I think should be changed in Genshin Impact, or implemented, I guess, at the same time. If there's anything else that you guys think you would like to see in the game, or something that you think I may have overlooked, or if you guys disagree with any of this, then let me know in the comments below. That's just a couple things that I could think of. There's probably a slew of other things as well, but again, if you guys did enjoy the video, then please give the video a thumbs up, and also consider subscribing to the channel. That's going to do it for me, and I will see you all for the next one. Take care. Peace!